Yeah, so if you ever get into surface mount soldering, you're going to need to know what type of solder paste to buy. So generally there are three types of solder paste. There's type 3, type 4, and type 5. Those are the most common. So if you usually buy it, you're most commonly going to get type 3, which is also the cheapest. So the differences in between the three types, the only real thing is the solder ball size. So solder paste is a bunch of tiny little solder balls suspended in a flux. So type 3, 80% of the balls are between 25 and 45 micrometers. Type 4, 80% of the balls are between 20 and 38 micrometers. And type 5, 80% of the balls are between 15 and 25 micrometers. So there are a few advantages of using type 5 over type 3, and the main one is 75% more surface area than type 3. Type 4 is 20% more surface area than type 3. Today I'm going to be showing the differences between type 3 and type 5 because 4 is really not that drastic of a difference on camera. So the other reason you would want to use type 5 is for finer pitched components, because type 3 does not work well in a solder stencil. It doesn't print well for finer pitched pins. So for little resistors and LEDs 0402 or larger, type 3 is not a big deal, but once you get finer, you're really going to want to use type 4 or even type 5. So if you're not familiar with a solder stencil, this is a stainless steel solder stencil, and you can buy this when you buy your boards, and this was only $10. So it's definitely worth the money, and to save yourself the aggravation, you can just use a couple other boards to make yourself like a little fixture here, and then you flip it down, squeegee the solder paste on, and then you're done. So you can reuse this over and over, and it's not a big deal. I'm going to show a few clips here of me adding the solder paste with the stencil, and then some follow-up photos, as well as some side-by-side photos. Then I'll show some soldering footage as well. Really, if you can afford it, I would only use type 5 just because it's just easier to work with. And if you had trouble with solder paste in the past, consider trying type 5. And I really like this brand. I don't have a lot of experience with a ton of other brands, but this one works pretty well, and I'll put a link in the description and a comment for that. But these are both leaded solders, okay? That's another thing. If you don't have to have non-leaded solder like this one, this is a bismuth, it's so much better to just use lead if you can. It's just easier to work with. It makes a better looking solder joint. So if you can, stick with type 5. Look in the data sheets. It's not always clear what type you're buying. So, but you can see the difference just even in this pad here. It just solders a lot cleaner and quicker with the finer solder paste. So, okay guys, hope you liked the video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.